Hello and welcome to PopFlash. I'm Jason Moses O'Toole, joined by Devilwalk, and this is everything you need to know in Counter-Strike this week. Just this past weekend in Cologne, Germany at Gamescom was the Intel Extreme Masters Tournament with an $85,000 prize pool. 6 teams were in attendance. The first thing I want to talk about, EnVyUs ended up taking out this whole tournament. They ended up taking that first seed, beating that first spot, beating TSM, who's been widely considered one of the best in the world. So how has that happened after such a quick turnaround on the roster change with Kenny S and Apex coming over? They were able to be so effective against TSM.
I mean, I think it's a mix of like a honeymoon period with EnVyUs being unpredictable. I mean, playing against an opera like Kenny S, especially being able to pick that CD side off and really abuse the way I feel like TSM played defensively. I mean, they struggled on their CT sides, and EnVyUs just with their high individual performances, getting those kills and picks and kind of. I mean, they were crazy in clutches as well. Every round's possible to win. So I don't know really what's happening with TSM's CT side, but
yeah, it did look weak this event, in which they've always been known. Even going back to Dignitas, they had really good ones. I mean, is this just something that's like a honeymoon period kind of for Envy right now? I mean, it's a good thing going into the major to have that win behind you.
Yeah, it's absolutely is. But I don't want to put it all on being a honeymoon period. I think there's some extent to that and some extent to being unpredictable, being a new team, which still will favor them going into the major. But I mean, it's just such a solid roster. I mean, could you expect them not to perform well?
Yeah.
Like, it's so much crazy skill. Like individually. Do they even need strats in that team? Like,
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of talent on that team. And then to go kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, those CLG went out in last place. Renegades, I mean, they got third place off the benefit of the tournament format, which we can talk about in a little bit. But my big thing with these two teams I wanted to mention is they're teams that we've seen have these potentials off the back of some of these really cool, like, best-of-1 wins over top teams. Both, whether it be at Pro League or I think Renegades had a couple at some Gfinity events. But, I mean, are we going to see these teams at the major do something consistently? Are they just going to give us enough to make them believe that it's possible here and there? Are they ever going to, like, take that next step into being able to consistently win those or win a best of 3 even?
I mean, for, like, Renegades, I'm pretty sure they didn't use their, I guess, set strats or what they practiced for a major. They kind of played it for fun, I would assume, and I would assume the same for CLG, but CLG actually, I mean, they played well. Like, they didn't play badly. They could have won a lot of those games.
Yeah, they had some close matches.
Yeah, playing against pretty tough opponents, I would say. So I'm more impressed by CLG than Renegades for this tournament, even though CLG had 0 wins.
Right.
They played well, and hopefully they didn't use too much to actually get those rounds. You can never be sure how much they use and how much they actually save for a major. I'm assuming they would save a lot,
right,
and kind of play more of a normal standardized default and kind of mid-round call with taking initiatives from each player, than rather using the set strategies or even using some kind of anti-strats. Maybe they figured anti-strat out but saved it during the game. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's talk about just the format now, because they have that interesting format going on. I mean, how'd you like it? It was viewers obviously voted for the first matchup. Viewers got to vote for the maps that could be possibly played throughout the whole tournament. The winning team of the previous match got to select the next 2 teams to play. Teams couldn't play back-to-back matches. 4 lives. When you lose a match, you lose a life, and when you get to 0, you're obviously out of the tournament. But how'd you like that? I mean, that's something that the players kind of have to buy into to make it as fun as IEM wanted it to be.
Yeah, I mean, all the teams took it as a funny thing, right? They kind of embraced it. I don't think it's a format that I would ever want to see in a major, for example. But it was definitely fun. But the more I thought about the actual format of the tournament, the more I just started laughing.
Yeah,
because it's kind of ridiculous. And especially with every team having a map they don't play, and the public deciding what map you play against the team could just decide, even if you're 10 times better, you could lose against that team because you don't practice the map.
All right, and earlier this week, the group draw for ESL One Cologne was publicized. The 4 groups that are going, they have that new format where they're going to be reseeding. So just wanted to get your thoughts, Devilwalk, on who we're thinking is going to move out of these groups in that first seed, because we don't really know how that reseed is going to affect who plays who for the second group of quarterfinalists. But for the 4 teams that make it out of these groups and get put into the quarterfinal matchups, let's just start with Group A. It's going to be Ninjas in Pajamas, Team Solo Mid, Renegades, CLG. Who do you see? I mean, obviously the big matchup there is NIP versus TSM.
Yeah, I actually, even though we've seen struggles from TSM, I actually think they'll pull through and take that top slot. I mean, I'm not really sure what kind of form NIP is in anyways, so
right.
I don't really have any material to
go off of, really.
Yeah, to even put NIP in the first spot.
All right, well, moving on to Group B now. We have EnVyUs, we have the new Luminosity, so Keat Stars, Team Kinguin, and Flipside Tactics. Those are the 4 teams in Group B. EnVyUs, after that win at IEM, obviously they're the favorites. Anyone in there that's going to be able to challenge them?
I don't actually think so. Not with how solid they actually looked against TSM. I mean, it's a battle. This Group B is all of a battle of the second spot. I don't think anyone should be able to take EnVyUs on that first seed, but it's a very, very tight. Recently lost their in-game leader, right, which was Delito, their coach. Like, I feel like that could affect them a lot. So
yeah. Well, they're that team that's kind of like so much individual skill. If they're all hitting their shots, then they can do anything they want. But are they going to get there? Okay, well, moving on to Group C then, we have, this will be a fun one. We have Fnatic, we have NaVi, Titan, and eBettle, the surprise team from the European qualifier. And I mean, that's the huge matchup, right? Fnatic versus NaVi, the first group that we've seen so far that has 2 of the top, 3 teams in the world, basically.
Yeah, I actually think this team is, or this group is kind of scary.
Who do you have coming out of that one?
It's actually pretty tight, but I'd put my biased heart to play
do it
and put Fnatic there.
That's perfect.
I talked to Pronax and they feel good right now, so.
Good. Well, I'm gonna take NaVi coming out of Group C. Actually, I'm gonna go against your bias. I got NaVi taking that one. And then on to the last group, Group D, the Virtus Pro, Mouse Sports, Cloud9, Immunity. I mean, this is 2 teams that really give Cloud9 a lot of tough times, Mouse Sports and Virtus Pro. I mean, there's a lot of hype around C9 right now, and they've had some really good results. But at CEVO, we saw both Virtus Pro and Mouse Sports take them down.
Yeah, I mean, this is also like kind of an open group. Mouse Sports have been really impressive of late. Like, they were the team that gave Envy the most struggle. And I'm pretty sure that's one of their lives that EnVyUs lost was against Mouse Sports. So Mouse Sports definitely, for me, has been looking upwards.
So who do you have coming out of Group D then?
I actually have Virtus for top and Cloud9 for second, I think it's way tighter than how I just listed like that. Sports has a genuine shot of taking one of those slots. Yeah,
that's going to be a really fun group. So basically, we have NIP coming, or no, excuse me, we have TSM coming out of Group A in that first seed. Group B is going to be Envy. Group C, we were split on that one. You said Fnatic, I said NaVi. And Group D, I think we're both kind of leaning towards Virtus Pro, but that'll be really interesting to watch. And obviously, after those 4 teams get to the quarterfinals, seeds will be redrawn, so it'll be a whole new group phase to discuss when that happens. But either way, that's what we have, and we'll just move on then. All right, and last but not least, Devilwalk, a few quickfire topics for you. What are your thoughts on the following stories? ESL today just releasing their drug testing details on what they're going to be looking for and how they're going to be testing for it.
I mean, just a quick thought. I kind of feel like it's too little time for players to get maybe, like, if someone has a prescription, they need some time to actually get that doctor's note to actually show ESL as they provided information in the rules that you have to. So limited time, in my opinion.
Okay, USA and Canada move on to the World Championship Finals, both of them defeating Mexico.
Expected.
All right, and the PGL Season 1 group draw was revealed, and In North America, we're going to have Luminosity, the former Keydstars, CLG, Team Liquid, and Method is going to be the fourth team that qualifies. In Europe, it's going to be Fnatic, NaVi, and Titan in Group B, waiting for a fourth qualifying team in that group. And then in Group A, it's Team Solo Mid, NaVi, Virtus Pro, with another qualifier going to be finishing up on Wednesday, which is going to be between Mouse Sports and Kingwin.
I don't really have that much of thoughts. It's going to be an interesting tournament either way, and we'll see who qualifies from the EU side. Seems like it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow between Kingwin and Mouse Sports.
Yeah, that's a best of 5 too.
Yeah.
And both of these teams at the major.
Yeah, it's a really good game, pre-major as well.
Yeah, so that'll be really cool to see. But to talk to me just really quick, one final question on PGL. You were at that, weren't you, with Fnatic last season? Was that before or after?
Yes.
How is that as an event in itself?
It was in Bucharest, right? So
yes.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they teamed up with, I guess, like DreamHack Bucharest, which, I mean, it was held in the same arena that was used, I think, in like 2013, 2012-ish. So it still had some flaws. The actual stage, there was no like soundproof stuff and
right.
stuff like that. So hopefully they fix those issues. Otherwise, you know, I always love going to Romania and Bucharest. Has been great. So it's going to be an interesting tournament overall.
All right, and that's it for this week of PopFlash. I'm Jason Moses O'Toole, joined by special guest Devilwalk. We'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of PopFlash. Jack Westerman will be back in the future. He is on vacation, but thank you guys for tuning in.